What's your best customer isn't always right story? I used to work at McDonald's. A woman came in and ordered a Big Mac, fries, and a drink, so I put her order in as a Big Mac combo, since it is cheaper than getting those 3 things separately. She then proceeded to scream at me, claiming that I am ripping her off and charging her for something she didn't even order. My manager then proceeded to simply charge her for those 3 things separately, and she ended up paying more. It was Black Friday, we sold out of a certain product. The woman told me to remove every ad because I'm not allowed to advertise something I don't have. That's not how this works. I also had a customer try to park his truck in my store. Yes, you read that right. He said he is allowed to park there because it doesn't explicitly say no parking. Well sir, your ass doesn't explicitly say don't duck me. So how about you bend over? I was working in a movie theater and a lady in her 50s comes in. I'd like a ticket for movie name. The one at 8:30? Yes. That'll be $12 please. Starts shouting, what? You just told me it was 8:30. No ma'am, the movie is. You just told me it's 8:30. The move. This is ridiculous. So what is the price? $12. 8:30 is. So what is 8:30? I see my manager coming. Deal with it with my manager. Bye. Go back to making popcorn. That day was also my 21st birthday. Worked at a popular cafe, so we got stupid shit all the time. Might a favorite though. Once had a man flag me down and start shouting about this weird worm in his pie. I took a quick look at the pie and noticed it was actually a piece of onion. After a couple of minutes of calming the man down, I asked him what sort of pie he ordered. He'd ordered beef and onion. He had me ducking swap his half-eaten beef and onion pie for another beef and onion pie because of it. Another time I was delivering a large tray of food to a table. Everything going fine, just a couple sandwiches etc. As I'm about to walk away, the older guy at the table grabs my attention. The conversation went like this. Guy, is this cheese sandwich dairy free? Me, as far as I'm aware we don't do dairy free cheese, so no. Guy, no, I mean does it have any milk products in? Me, yes, it's got cheese and butter in. Guy, well can you bring me it back without the dairy products? Me, you want your cheese sandwich without any dairy products? Him, yes. I promptly returned it to my manager, let her know the situation, and said, good luck figuring that one out. I dealt with a lot of dumb shit as a camp director, but one that always sticks out in mind. After the week is over, a mother comes roaring up to me and has murder in her eye. Having introduced myself to the families, less than an hour before she knew I was an authority figure in the camp. She is irate over the fact that her son told her other campers were using foul and distasteful language in front of her son. Assuming the worst, I ask which words were used, and she leans forward to me and whispers, fart, balls, and butthole. Without trying to laugh, I tell her I will discuss it with the staff. Did I mention that her son was a 15-year-old teen camper? How can my checking account be overdrawn? I still have checks left. You see a lot of stupid people as a bank teller. I work and produce. An older woman wanted gala apples. I showed her where they were at and went about my business. She then walked up holding a bag of apples and we had this exchange. Her, I wanted galas. These are Chellan apples. Me, yes ma'am, those are galas. Chellan is the brand. Her, no, they're Chellans. It says on the label. Me, Chellan is the brand, ma'am. Those are galas. Her, oh, well we'll see about that. Snotty ducking tone by the way. She examines the bag as I stand there, sets it down, and quietly says, oh, you're right, and walks away. That's not the worst one, but the only one that comes to mind right now. What's the worst one? That would be the jackass that bought a different flashlights, a 3 LED $4.99, and a 6 LED $9.99. He wanted the 6 for the same price as the 3, because he needed to and didn't feel he should pay extra. I told him no, he demanded I call a manager. So I did, the manager also said no. Jackass paid full price for both. Most satisfying customer interaction of my cashier career was having the manager back me up on refusing to process a return for incense that didn't taste good. I work at a concert venue. I had a customer call the day after the show, wanting a refund because the artist did not play his favorite song during the show. I was working in a frozen yogurt shop, and a customer requested that I surprise her with my choice of flavor and add-ons, as well as the size. I created a medium chocolate topped with granola and rainbow sprinkles. She looked it over and said it was too small, too crunchy, unattractive, and oh, by the way, she was allergic to chocolate. When I used to work at DQ, there was some lady who literally made me cry over Butterfinger. She didn't understand that what we got was called ground Butterfingers, and she wouldn't accept that I wasn't sabotaging her candy bars before making a blizzard with them. She made 2 other girls cry too. My boss ended up banning her from ever returning. The owners don't take shit from anyone, and I love that. Lady comes into our restaurant an hour before closing time and announces she's having her bridal shower at our restaurant of 60 people in about 15 minutes from now. We tell her we'll do our best to accommodate them, but we already have a wedding party in our private room, which only seats 50 anyways, but we're happy to accommodate her group in the regular area, warning her that we aren't set up to just immediately feed this number of people, this late at night, all at once. I heard her say, well, this is ridiculous. I sent out invitations to my guests 2 months ago. My manager replied, well, we didn't get one of those. You've made no reservation, and we'll do what we can to feed your group, but the meals are not going to come out at the same time. Lady starts having a hissy fit about us ruining her dinner. She was being rude enough that manager then informed her that we'd love to help her, but a party this large, at no notice, at the end of the night would require a 30% mandatory tip, and we would only stay open long enough to serve their food plus 20 minutes to eat. She stormed out, and a lot of her party ended up just eating dinner at our restaurant. We didn't enforce the required tip for them, because they had no other option. Most tipped at least 20% anyways. Several of them left glowing reviews for how accommodating we were, and how great the staff was, how much they enjoyed the food, etc. I work at a theater, so I understand how frustratingly stupid people are. My favorite exchanges are: customer: "Want senior?" Me: "Which movie?" Customer: "I said 1 senior ticket." Me: "Okay. To what movie?" Customer: "Are you even listening?" 1 senior ticket. Me: "What movie do you want to see?" I can't give you a ticket unless you tell me the movie. Them: exasperated sigh, as if it's perfectly obvious what movie they want. Blockbuster. This woman would repeatedly rent games and keep them until they cycled out of inventory, and she would get charged for them. Then she would complain about the charges, stating she returned the game weeks ago. My boss would always remove the charges, and then the game would magically be in the Dropbox the very next day. This happened all the ducking time with this lady. I even commented on her account every time it happened. Finally one time, I refused to remove the charge, and told her I was sick of her petty game. She called my boss, he listened to my side of the story, told me to remove her charges, and the next ducking day the game was in the Dropbox. I told him it happened again, and he transferred me to a different store. Fast forward a few months, and the woman's 10-year-old daughter comes into my new store to rent American Pie. Haha. Sorry kid, you gotta have an adult come in and rent this for you. She goes out to her mom, who I can clearly see through the window, tells her what I said, and I get the most evil glare I have ever seen, as she throws her car into reverse and leaves without a movie. I worked for an airline. A customer calls in wanting to go to a city we don't fly to. No problem. I tell him we fly to city, and then they can take another airline to final destination. He starts screaming, "Are you new? How can you be so stupid? I am on your website, and you do fly there." I explained that I had been employed a mere 25 years with that airline, but I'm always learning. Then I directed the customer to click on the connecting flight number, then read to me what it says. Flight 123 operated by other airline. Oh. Why he didn't just book it himself online will become apparent later. We continued on, and I made the reservation. This customer complained every time I had to ask for info or say a federally mandated notification. Nothing unusual about that. I did politely ask him to keep his volume down because I could not help him with my ears ringing. Then I asked for the credit card number to complete the purchase. He started screaming again that he was not giving me his credit card. He was using his bank miles that cannot be accessed by me or the airline. I explained that his bank took his miles, then called us and actually purchased the ticket with actual money. He went totally insane, screeching. I let him know if he didn't clean up his filthy language, I was going to hang up on him. He then asked for a supervisor, which I was. Yippee. The co-worker I begged to take this call explained the situation calmly. I listened in. Then the customer said, I already tried calling the bank reservation line, and they said I couldn't do it. Then they hung up on me. Believe it or not, most of my customers were lovely. This one, not so much. An interaction that I remember from my experience at the cinema. Customer, can I have a large popcorn? Me, sure, would you like sweet or salted? Customer, what's the difference? Me, after a brief hesitation, one is flavored with sugar, the other is salted. Customer, oh okay, well which one would I like? Me, after a slightly longer hesitation, I don't know, you can sample both if you like. Customer, after sampling, I don't like either of these, I don't think I like popcorn. They then simply walked off. Work in a takeout food business. A lady ordered a delivery with about 3 meals, one of which had mushrooms in. She called about I would say 15 minutes after receiving her order to complain that I tried to kill her by putting mushrooms in her meal. She did not state that she or anyone had a mushroom allergy and went to yell and demand free stuff. The yelling lasted about 10 minutes of her just yelling and threatening to report us, and all I could do was say why she did not state that she had an allergy. In the end she got nothing, and funny enough ordered again about 3 weeks later. I used to coach gymnastics for what were largely upper middle class and above clients. Dumb blonde housewife, who managed to find a way to talk about how much money her husband makes in several conversations with me and others, tells me her husband wants to know why they were charged 13 times for the monthly tuition fees last year. I tell her we charge every 4 weeks, not every month. This is made very clear in the contract they sign, and on any of the literature about our class times and tuitions. A couple days later her douche canoe of a husband comes and demanding an explanation as to why he was overcharged last year, because he was unsatisfied with the explanation I gave his wife. He's a big powerful salesman or something, and I'm just a dumb little girl who teaches kids to do somersaults. He was so smug, thinking he's going to school me on being so dumb, or worse, doing sketchy business. I once again explained that we charge in 4-week increments, not monthly. I explained that there are 52 weeks in a year, and 52 divided by 4 is 13. He still didn't get it, so I had to pull out a calendar and count it out to him. He got huffy and walked out. That was about 4 years ago, and they still bring their kids as far as I know. Worked at a local upscale restaurant in the Midwest. We had bad weather coming in one night that turned from a tornado watch to a tornado warning. I stayed later than the rest of the staff, minus 2 other managers who were going to stay put, since they lived half an hour away, and the tornado sirens just went off. I'm on my way out the door, because I live 5 minutes away, and run into the 20-person reservation that didn't answer their phone when we called 5 times to tell them we were closing due to the tornadoes. So we're outside, in a thunderstorm with the tornado sirens blaring, and these people cannot grasp the situation, and are acting like it's just a normal day. I try for a few minutes to get reason in their heads, but they're having none of it. So I get the 2 other managers to deal with it and went home, because I couldn't handle that level of stupid anymore. Customer orders a bowl of soup to go. We are very busy, and currently out of the type of soup she ordered. I tell her it will be a significant wait, as it takes at least 10 minutes to heat up soup. She agrees. 2 minutes later she asks me where her soup is. 2 minutes later, she asks again. I get frustrated and tell her I will put it in the microwave. 2 minutes later, same deal. Where's my soup? It's in the microwave, ma'am, but it will take a little longer. Make the microwave go faster. Okay. Well, whatever. I pull it a little early, and it's still cold, but at this point I don't give a duck. I portion out her soup. Our to-go soup containers were taller and narrower than the in-house bowls, which were flat and wide. The volume of soup remained consistent between the two containers. I know this because the portion size was to ladles, regardless of container. I bring this customer her soup, and she immediately protests that I didn't give her enough soup. She doesn't want to pay the same price for less soup, just because she's taking it to go. I attempt to explain the concept of conservation, which is typically grasped around age 7, to this grown-ass woman. She stares at me the entire time with this suspicious look on her face, like she thinks I'm trying to pull a fast one on her. But the bowls in-house are bigger. Eventually takes her soup. Shows back up half an hour later. It's cold. I don't work there anymore. I'm a long-haul flight attendant. Had a passenger on a flight once that had laid their 8 or 9-year-old on the ground to sleep. I asked the mother to politely pick her up as it wasn't safe, to which the mother informed me that it was safe and pulled the "I've done it plenty of times before" line. Things escalated dramatically from here when I insisted she pick her child up. It took 20 minutes of arguing, the waking of the entire aircraft, the captain, the purser, and threats of restraint to calm her down. We eventually managed to get the child in the seat with a pillow I had found in the aircraft cupboard. The reason we can't have anyone on the floor is that in the event of sudden decompression, the masks won't reach ground level. A person has around 4 seconds of useful consciousness in a worst case scenario, so the mother wouldn't be able to take her mask off to bend down, pick her child up, and put her on oxygen. This is also the reason we tell you to put your own mask on before assisting others. It's a hell of a lot easier helping your child with their mask while you're conscious.